Levante Rogers opening up the show here with a $4.99 super chat. He says, should the Bulls trade for the number 2 pick and go get LaMelo Ball, who's actually 6'8", and then draft Deni Avdija with the 4th overall pick? Here's the problem, Levante. I love the ambition. I love the idea of getting that number 2 pick to be able to get LaMelo Ball. However, if you want the 2nd pick, you're probably going to have to trade that 4th pick, unless you give up a Kobe White or a Lauri Markkanen or maybe a Wendell Carter Jr. or a Zach LaVine. So I just don't think it's realistic getting 2 and 4. But if they did, yeah, they should definitely go LaMelo and Deni Avdija in back-to-back picks. Big Play Slay coming in with questions every single week. I love you for watching. Appreciate you, brother. He says, do you see the Mavs trading for a superstar in free agency? Superstar is a big word because in all reality, there are a very limited amount of superstars in the NBA. You've got Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, James Harden. Those kind of guys, and there's more that I'm forgetting, Giannis, of course, are superstars. I don't think the Mavs have the firepower to trade for a guy at that level. Now, a former All-Star or maybe a future All-Star, yeah, potentially, but they'd have to give up a lot to get a lot back. Unknown coming in with a good question here. He asks, or she, they are unknown, I guess, who should the Cleveland Cavaliers draft this year? Now, they have the 5th overall pick in the draft. And you look at what they have on the roster. They've got Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, Andre Drummond. What do you not hear there? A wing. They don't have a forward. And guess what? At 5, I think you're in a perfect position to draft either a Deni Avdija. If he's available, you don't even think twice. You take him at number 5. Or Isaac Okoro out of Auburn could be a great defensive wing. Needs to work on his jump shot, but he's a good scorer inside. Let's go to Rainier Albert Lazada. Should the Thunder trade Chris Paul or keep him for next season? So I was on a Thunder website very recently, and they ran a poll that said, hey, what should we do? What should the Thunder do? Trade Chris Paul and start building for the future, a.k.a. tank, or keep Chris Paul and add on to what they have? And the votes were split like 51 to 49. I am in the boat that you should just tank the rest of the season, tank next season out, and that starts with trading Chris Paul. Because if they keep Chris Paul, what are you? At best, you're a 5th seed in the Western Conference again. You're not going to win a championship with him as your best player. Trade him, get draft assets, and get young pieces to build around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder, Lou Dort, and Darius Baisley as well. Let's go to Banjo Tolentino, who asks, should the Celtics trade all of their first-rounders for the Pistons' 7th pick? So Boston has, as I'm checking right here to make sure I got this right, the 14th pick, they've got the 26th pick, they've got the 30th pick, and then they also have the 47th pick. So they have 4 total picks, 3 of those 4 in the first round. Listen, anywhere from about 7 to 14 in this draft is a very similar skill set. I just don't think, or I guess I should say skill level, not skill set. I just don't think it's worth trading all those picks for number 7. If you're going to trade your picks, if Boston's going to package all 3 of those first-round picks, I think they should trade them for an established veteran. Don't trade them for another draft pick that you're going to have to develop because you're in win-now mode at this point. You got Jayson Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, you got guys like Gordon Hayward and Kemba Walker. You're trying to win right now, and the 7th overall pick in this draft isn't going to do it. Speaking of winning right now, let me ask you guys this question. Who will win the 2020 NBA Finals? It's sneaking up on us. We're already in the 2nd round. I don't know when you're watching this, but things seem to be flying by. But who do you think is going to win it all in 2020? If you asked me at the beginning of the bubble, I would have said the Lakers. If you would have asked me after the first round, I would have said the Clippers. If you ask me now, I'm saying I have no freaking idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a team out of the Eastern Conference not named the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll just have to see. But when the NBA Finals do roll around, and that's coming up very, very soon, we're going to be live for it all. If you joined me on All Things Mavs, we did watch parties. We do watch parties on our Lakers channel as well. If you want to make sure you don't miss those NBA Finals watch parties, you're going to want to make sure you go live and go subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv. We had over 1.1 million views on Game 6 of the Finals last year. We were breaking all kinds of records. We want you to be a part of that on Chat Sports. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a thing on this channel. I'm going to be doing it with you all offseason and playoffs and finals long. Let's go to Preto asks, Al Horford and Josh Richardson for Drew Holiday and Nicolo Melli. Here's the thing. Drew Holiday is an upgraded version of Josh Richardson. Al Horford is an overpaid big man, and Nicolo Melli is a young and up-and-coming shooter. Now, Melli's not as good as Horford is right now. He might not ever be as good as Horford is right now, but I just don't think the Pelicans say yes to that. I don't think they want to take on the money of Al Horford because he basically takes up a big man spot next to Zion and away from Jackson Hayes. Josh Richardson is a nice piece, but if you got Drew Holiday, why would you trade for a downgraded version of Josh Richardson? I think the Pelicans say no, but it's a good idea. I also don't know if the money works. I'd have to check on that. Go to Allen. Pretty simple username. Could the Kings try and trade Buddy Hield this offseason, and what could he be worth? Very good question, and I will definitely do a video soon completely surrounded by different trade ideas for Buddy Hield. I think he can net you at least one first-round pick and an established player. He's obviously not happy in Sacramento. He obviously wants out, but his value seems to be decreasing minute by minute. So if you want to try to get a first-round pick for him, I think you should probably try to call up teams right now. I think a team like the Dallas Mavericks might bite on that with the 18th pick and the 31st overall pick. If they can do that, if the Kings can get that from the Mavs, I wouldn't be surprised to see them say yes to that one. I just don't think Buddy Hield wants to be in Sacramento any longer. Braden Greenleaf says, where do you see AD signing this offseason? Another video that we'll definitely have for you here soon on the channel. But, I mean, if I had to give my gut reaction and my instant reaction to where I think he will end up, I think he's going to stay in Los Angeles. I just don't see the Lakers letting him walk. Obviously, they're going to offer him all the money in the world. But more importantly, I don't see him walking away from the Lakers. The one team that might steal him away, maybe, potentially, possibly, the Chicago Bulls, because that is his hometown. But I don't think it's likely. I think he stays in Los Angeles, and more specifically, the Los Angeles Lakers, with Chicago as a close second. But we're going to ask you guys the question, because it's not always about what I think. I want to know what you guys think. Where will AD sign in free agency? Type L for the Lakers, type O for other. But here's my one stipulation. If you type O for other, you have to predict that team, because that's a bold claim if he's going to leave the Lakers. So be real bold and predict that team as well in the comment section. Now, one thing that's not bold, it's really a simple thing to do, is wearing a mask. You go to chatsports.com/NBA mask. You can get your favorite team mask today. You can get 1, 2 packs of 3 or packs of 4 with custom styles in really a ton of different teams. Every single team in the NBA, you can get those face masks today. I already bought mine. I got it. That's over there. I would have shown you on screen, but I can't. Chatsports.com/NBA mask. That's the best place to go to get your masks. Keep yourself safe, and let's get basketball 100% back, and let's get back inside NBA Stadium. So we're going to keep it rolling here with the live Q&A and keep updating and keep answering all your questions. This one coming from Van Omar 009. Kelly Oubre Jr., Frank Kaminsky, Elie Okobo in the 10th pick. Wow. For Kevin Love. Man, if the Suns are going all in, if the Suns are truly like, hey, we want to win right here, right now, I think they say yes. But that feels like too much to give up for a guy that you're going to be paying a lot of money, and you really don't know how healthy he is. I think the Cavs easily say yes to this one, because that would give them the 5th pick and the 10th pick, and it would give them an elite wing, not elite, but elite scorer in Kelly Oubre Jr. I think it's definitely possible. Just might be a little too much with that 10th pick included on that one, but I love the idea, and we'll definitely talk about Kevin Love trade scenarios soon on the channel. Nolan Novotnoy says, can the Mavs trade up into the lottery? Yes, maybe, but is it worth it? I don't know if it is. If they find somebody they really, really like at 14 and they're like, we got to have this guy, sure, I think 18 and 31 could potentially net you a 14th overall pick. One team I could see them trading with into the lottery is the Boston Celtics, because, look, Boston has 14, but as we mentioned earlier on the show, they have 2 other first-round picks. So maybe Boston says, hey, give us 18 and give us 31. We'll give you 14. So then Boston would have the 18th pick, the 31st pick, the 26th pick, and the 30th pick, and then they can really package all those draft assets for an established player. So maybe the end of the lottery. It's a good question, Nolan. Preto says, Derrick Rose to the Mavs for the 18th overall pick. It's not a bad idea. I think Derrick Rose is probably talent-wise better than anybody you're going to get at 18. But I think Dallas is going to look to package 18 and 31 together in order to get a player that they can, help build around. That's the thing. Or that can be an elite wing shooter. A point guard is probably your secondary need in this offseason, and that's what Derrick Rose is. And Derrick Rose at this point is definitely a backup point guard. He is not a starting caliber point guard for this Mavericks team. Now, producer Dylan's bringing up a hot topic question here, and I'm going to ask you, and it's kind of interesting that you bring it up right after Derrick Rose. Maybe producer Dylan just hates Derrick Rose. Who's the most overrated NBA player of all time? That is a loaded question, but the most overrated player? I can't even think of someone off the top of my head. But there's a lot out there. So I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm going to just refer to the comments section. Who is the most overrated NBA player ever? Go ahead and shout it out in the comment section below. All right, let's get some shout outs for the most overrated player. I see Kyrie Irving rolling in a ton. 4 different people said Kyrie Irving. I see Jerry West. Someone said Giannis. I don't think. I know James Yoder would agree that Giannis is the most overrated, but I definitely disagree with that one. I see Kawhi Leonard, Victor Oladipo, Steve Nash. I will say this about Steve Nash. Although I love him very, very much, and he's always near and dear to my heart, he definitely robbed Shaquille O'Neal of one of those MVP trophies. He definitely did not deserve one of those trophies. So, yeah, Steve Nash actually might be a good answer there. Chris Paul, maybe. Draymond Green, Ben Simmons. Okay, all time, I don't know about Ben Simmons. I also see Paul George and Austin Rivers. Interesting there with Austin Rivers. Didn't know anybody ever overrated him. All right, Alt asks, who should the Bulls draft? Well, I just talked about the Bulls potentially drafting LaMelo Ball. I think that'd be a perfect draft pick. I just don't think they're going to be able to get him at where they're picking at number 4 overall. So I think what Chicago should do is draft a wing, an Isaac Okoro, or a Deni Avdija. More specific, I lean toward Deni Avdija on that argument, but if you want defense, go Okoro. If you want more offense and playmaking, go Deni Avdija. Rainier Albert says, should the Sixers blow it up? Simple answer, yes. I really do think the Philadelphia 76ers should be blowing it up. There are reports and rumors that Tyronn Lue is eventually about to become the next head coach there, but nothing confirmed. However, you can guarantee when that is confirmed, we'll have it here for you on Chat Sports. But I think it's time to move on from Ben Simmons and or Joel Embiid and see what you can get from those guys in the open market. Go ahead, blow it up, and get some draft assets.